I'm Q Harrison. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show with your man, Paul Hickey. What's good? No off season. When you get into this game, the reason why you pay someone like Paul Hickey to get your sports card strategy together is because sometimes when you're starting out, you need perspective, you need wisdom, you need insights. And so he's been around the track enough times where he can actually coach you up and guide you. Doesn't mean he's going to take you to the promised land tomorrow, but you now have a coach by your side that can advise and kind of even create these pathways where you can get the education yourself. And that's a lot better than thugging it out on your own.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. Don't forget to get a free 30-day trial at NoOffSeason.com today to help you make money flipping sports cards, build your sports card investment portfolio, get unlimited advice from our experts, and take sports card school to navigate the hobby. That's NoOffSeason.com. Get your free 30-day trial today. All the data we use on the Sports Card Strategy Show is from MarketMoversApp.com. Use code NOOFFSEason at MarketMoversApp.com to get 20% off for life after a free 14-day trial. All right, let's get to the Sports Card Strategy. What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show, the flagship show on the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network, and I'm very happy to be with you today. Today is Monday, July 22nd. Tomorrow, I will be on a flight to Cleveland, Ohio for the National. Any of you out there who will be at the National, I would love to see you in person, so make sure to find me. I'll be with Lefty McKee and In Turner, along with some other friends of the show like Mosaic Joe, M. Pokeworld, who's a guy named Maddox, who we've talked a lot about here on the show. One great sports card flipper after another will be joining me at the National. And don't worry, if you're not going to be there, you're not really going to miss out, because we're going to be bringing you some phenomenal content next week from the National. So you're going to feel like you were actually there. But I'm excited to visit Cleveland, Ohio. Of course, we've got Clio Cards. Clio Cards. Many of you who are veteran listeners to the Sports Card Strategy Show will know that name from the live chat. Clio stands for Cleveland, Ohio. So we'll see Chuck, Clio Cards. We might even see Gary Underwood, who's in the area, the Ohio area, formerly of Hoops and Cards, if you guys remember Hoops and Cards. All right, everybody. But on today's show, we're going to talk about the top 5 ways to make money on grading Victor Wembanyama cards. We'll also talk about the Topps Buyback program. Will It Gem? There's some couple interesting nuggets during the Will It Gem segment, so stay tuned for that. Do you want to help charity by buying sports cards? We'll talk about some top auctions ending soon, and what is the best way to auction off a 5-figure card. And before we get into our live chat, are you ready to start grading your cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. All right, let's say hello to everybody in the live chat. Sean Red 5 Cards in the house. Good to see you, Sean. Hope you're recovering well from your recent surgeries. Matt S is in the house, says, yo, what's up, Matt? Koa is in the house. Will not be able to make it to the National, but he's going next year. Love it, Koa. And then here's a new name in the live chat. All Elite Cards and Games says National is on my bucket list next year, 100%. All Elite Cards, let us know what we can do to help get you to the National in 2025. We would love to see all of you there. All right, remember, if you're in the live chat at youtube.com/Paul Hickey, drop your L's, dubs in the live chat. We'll shout you out, through the episode and definitely at the end of the show. And if you like the content we're putting out on a daily, weekly basis, please like, comment, and subscribe at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. It helps us out a lot. And if you want to join for a free 30-day trial at NoOffSeason.com, if you're not already a premium member, you get unlimited advice from me on how to build your sports card investment portfolio. So go to NoOffSeason.com/ask and ask any questions. All right, everybody, let's get into the question of the day. And it is very relevant because Topps Chrome Baseball just hit the market. And as many of you know, there is a Topps Buyback program just about every year that has to do with the flagship releases. This year's is going to be the MVP Buyback program, which we'll talk about later in the episode. So stay tuned for that. But are you doing the Topps Buyback program? Are you buying Topps Chrome as a sports card strategy with the Topps Buyback program in mind? Because the short version of what it is you can collect the MVP candidates. And we'll talk later on in the episode. We'll give you all the details later on in the episode about what this actually is. But you can collect the MVP candidates and then essentially take them to your local participating hobby shop in November of 2024 after the MVPs have been announced. And you can actually get credit at those hobby shops. So we'll talk more in the episode later about the Topps Buyback program. But are you doing it? So to answer the question of the day, the best way to do it is to go to Instagram, follow Sports Card Strategy if you're not already following us, and answer our pinned post. Comment on our pinned post. And of course, you can comment on this episode at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Joel Kaplan in the live chat. And breaking news, All Elite Cards and Games is longtime listener Alan Ma. Alan, good to see you. I like your new name, man, and thanks for clarifying that it is Alan Ma. Don't forget to comment at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Are you doing the Topps Buyback program, or on our pinned post on IG? All right, let's talk real quick about how you can help charity by buying sports cards. So there's only a couple of days left in these auctions, but you can go to CharityBuzz.com/no-offseason to benefit the Inspiring Children Foundation and Women in Film. And Charity Buzz has the best in sports, trading cards, and memorabilia up for auction, with a portion of each winning bid supporting a nonprofit partner. Add new collectibles to your collection and bid now at CharityBuzz.com/no-offseason. All right, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Top 5 ways to make money on grading Victor Wembanyama cards. And this is going to be a preview of what you would get as a premium member at nooffseason.com. Sean read 5 cards in the live chat. I appreciate him saying this. He says, join premium and strategist package. You won't be disappointed. Strategist package he's talking about, that's the one-on-one strategist package where you can work directly with me for a year. And I would agree with Sean. It's definitely worth the money. So Sean, really appreciate that shout out in the live chat. Joining premium is you get a free 30-day trial right now, and then just stay subscribed for great content throughout the year. And what I do every once in a while is I give members some additional gifts. So you definitely want to stay subscribed past that free trial period. And then if you're interested in the one-on-one package, just email me. Email me at paul@nooffseason.com. and I'll give you all the information on the one-on-one strategist package. So thanks, Sean, for allowing me to get that shameless plug in there before we talk about the top 5 ways to make money on Victor Wembanyama cards, grading Wemby specifically, grading Wemby. So there's a lot of cards to potentially grade out there, as you all know, right? I mean, there's like millions and millions and millions of cards. And while some of them have phenomenal upside in PSA 10, some of them do well across PSA 9 and PSA 10. Some of them are more expensive than others. Regardless of all the different factors, we've built a formula at nooffseason.com to help all of you prioritize which cards you should be buying first to grade at PSA. And then when you get them back, you can sell them. You don't need a selling marker. Now, sometimes you can combine the ROI from the raw to grade with a selling marker, and you can potentially make even more money. So keep that in mind as we talk about all of these cards, but I'm going to walk you through 5 Victor Wembanyama cards right now, because Wemby cards keep hitting the market. I mean, we had Optic release recently. We had Contenders release recently. So we're running more and more of these raw to grade cards through the formula. And oh, by the way, you don't have to be a premium member at nooffseason.com if you just want to use our sports card ROI formula calculator. So that's free to everyone. Go to nooffseason.com and check out the calculator, and you can just see what our formula is. It's no secret. It tells you what the formula is from a raw to grade standpoint, and you can enter in various cards that you're interested in potentially having graded, and you can see if it's going to give you an ROI or not. So I'm going to walk you through, again, from 5 all the way up to number 1, the top 5 ways to make money grading Victor Wembanyama cards. Okay, so, some people don't have, $500 to spend on one sports card, and that's okay. Some people only have maybe $12 to $20 to spend on any one individual card. And what you're going to find in today's episode is that you don't need necessarily a ton of money to make money flipping Victor Wembanyama cards, but you have to be fast, and I'll explain why. Victor Wembanyama's 2023 Prism Silver 136 Raw is going for about $527 right now. So if you grade that at PSA, you got to add $21 grading fee. So you're going to be all in $548. You're going to have an upside of just over $1,000 for a PSA 10. But realistically, you're not going to get a PSA 10 necessarily because it's a 66% gem rate. Now, while that gem rate is very, very high, it doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a PSA 10. So you might not double your money, right? Going from $527 to over $1,000. So what our formula tells you is across all the different potential grades that you could get, your likely sale price is going to be based on the gem rate and everything like that. If you find a gradable copy that looks well-centered, looks like there's no surface issues, no clear dinged corners or rough edges, you should make about a gross profit amount of about $778.98. You can wait until October to sell that, or you can sell that exactly right when you get it back from PSA. And if you sell it right away, you would make you'd be likely to make a 14% total net profit or ROI amount. And the reason why is because our formula takes into account all the different fees that you would pay on the back end. So your target price, and I get asked this question a lot, does your target price account for shipping and tax? No, it doesn't. So, but the reason it doesn't is because I don't want you to be confused. I want you to just basically try to win the card at $527. Don't worry about adding in your own taxes and shipping, because the net profit ROI amount on the back end does take into account taxes, shipping, eBay fees, secondary marketplace fees, and all that. So if you were to look at how much money would you need to spend to make $1,000 net profit on this particular card, Wemby's 2023 Prism Silver 136, you would need 13 of them, and you would need to spend $7,288.71. And that's how we get that 14% ROI amount across all of those cards. So conceivably, if you have $7,300 and you want 13 graded Victor Wembanyama 2023 Prism Silver 136s, and you think that that card's going to go up in the future, you could make more than 14% ROI. You're not going to get all PSA 10s, but you could make 14% ROI or more if you hold longer, because I do believe that is probably the best card to hold long-term out of the ones we're going to talk about today. And then moving into just, again, if you don't have that $527, that's okay, because this next card, Victor Wembanyama's 2023 Prism Green 136, actually gives you bigger upside from a raw to grade perspective with a lower entry point. So the Green Prism 136 is $142 entry point. Add your grading fee, you're going to be in $163. You're going to go bulk value grading at PSA. You've got a $405 upside in a PSA 10, but a likely average sale price across all grades of $257.58. We would recommend you sell this one right when you get it back from PSA, and you will make 26% ROI. So you're welcome, everyone. And you can find this card if you need help searching for it. You need to become a premium member at nooffseason.com, because when you go to Victor Wembanyama's profile page, and the formula-based sports card rankings, you can get directed into eBay search queries that we've already filtered for you to go ahead and just find this card. Now, it's going to be up to you to find the one for $142 that's well-centered, all of that good stuff. That's easier said than done. You got to do a little bit of work there, but we're helping you get there very quickly. 26% ROI, because to make $1,000 on this card. Now, the $1,000 is an arbitrary number, but a lot of people ask me, okay, if I want to make $1,000 net profit, on, a month or a week, whatever, what's the best way to do it? Well, this is a great way to do it because you can go ahead and buy these cards now. You could get 23 of them. It's going to cost you $3,784.85. But across all the grades, if you hit that target cost on average of $142 of the snipe price target cost, you'll make 26% on your 23 cards, which will net you $1,000. So there's less expensive ways to do it as we get further into the top 5 Victor Wembanyama cards. The good old base prism, the Victor Wembanyama 2023 base prism 136, only goes for about $33 right now. It still has a $127 upside in a PSA 10, has a 63% gem rate. It still actually has pretty decent return on PSA 9s. You basically are only out partial of your grading fee when you get a PSA 9 back, which is great. So you still have a $94 likely sale across all of your Victor Wembanyama base prisms. Now, I've made this play and I'm making a lot of money on this play. I'm making a lot of money on the silver too, by the way, but I haven't bought a green yet, but I'm making money on the silver and the base. So the base, believe it or not, even though it's just the base card, is the third best way to grade and make money on Victor Wembanyama cards because it has a 39% ROI still. This is why I love our formula, because many of us would be fading this card. Let's be honest with each other. Many of us would be fading this card because it's like, oh, who wants a base prism? It's been out for a while. Nobody really cares because Optic and Contenders are out now. There's probably going to be like some sort of version of a Topps composite basketball that comes out where there's going to be like Topps Chrome Black Victor Wembanyama. And of course, it's not going to have Spurs stuff on it because it's going to be unlicensed, but it's going to be cool. Everyone's going to want it. So, your base prism PSA 10 is still making us quite a bit of money because you can buy 47 of these. It's going to cost you $2,544.60, but you're going to make $1,000 net profit on that, which is your 39% ROI. So people will ask, do I really need to buy 47 of them? No, you don't need to buy 47 of them. That's a lot of them, but you might want to buy 10, you might want to buy 5, you might want to buy 20. And as long as you can stay close to that $33 target cost for the card, you're going to come close to netting 39% ROI on the entire Prism base Wemby play. Now, there's a couple of plays that are currently netting more ROI. I think one of them is going to be pretty safe, and I think another is going to be pretty risky. And I'm going to explain why. And Eric Gruenberger is stockpiling the base prisms. Love it that he's following the formula. And Koa in the live chat says, my membership gift package paid for my annual membership. Sign up now at nooffseason.com. That's awesome. Yeah, because people are getting gifts. We've had people win a graded PSA 10 red wave Wemby that paid for 3-4 years worth of nooffseason.com and all that good stuff. But anyway, back to the content here. So I think the safer one would be your Victor Wembanyama 2023 Prism Hyper 136. So the Prism Hyper is a cool looking card. It's not as desirable as the silver for some reason. It's just not. The market tells us that because it's about half the price raw. So it's about $235 to get into one Prism Hyper Wemby. And so you'd be all in about $256 for grading. And you would be able to net $1,000 by simply buying 5 of these for $1,396.77, which is going to be 72% ROI. That's massive. Now, again, the reality is like, are you going to be able to find 5 gemmable copies for that target price? Maybe not. But if you can find 5 gradable copies for as close to that target price as possible, there is a very, very, very good chance that you can net 72% ROI on this card, which is massive. That's massive. Now, the riskier option is going to be the newer release, the Victor Wembanyama 2023 Optic Base 225. Why is it riskier? Because right now, the price for the raw card is probably going to be a little bit higher than it's going to be in a couple of months, because Optic is still hitting the market from a single standpoint, and people still consider it like the new flashy release. So it's going to cost you a little bit more money to get those gradable copies, but it's still only $11.50. The other reason why this is a little bit risky, though, probably the bigger reason why this is risky, is because how long can the PSA 10 sustain the $160 upside mark, right? So you got to make sure that you're checking nooffseason.com every day, checking the formula every day, because we update it every day for all of these cards, for every card. So, right, I think that like you could be in a situation where the ROI that I'm about to tell you exists now might not totally be there in a couple of months, because I think the PSA 10 price could come down like it always does. But then I do think that it could go back up when Wemby starts playing again, right? So right now the numbers are phenomenal for this card. Essentially, it's a 100% ROI, which means you only need to spend $998.28 to net $1,000. And so we've taken into account all of your fees, likely sale price across all grades according to the gem rate. And it's a much lower gem rate than Prism, but it's still giving you an $82 sale essentially that you'd be likely to get across all of them that you buy. So if you buy 31 of these, which is what the $998.20 would get you to grade them, you should come close to netting $1,000. Now, why I say come close is because I think that by the time you get these back from PSA, the $160 PSA 10 could come down a little bit. But man, it sure is easy to eyeball Optic in terms of centering, top, bottom, right, left, back. It's easier to look for surface flaws on shinier releases and things like that. So I think that even though it's a lower gem rate so far with this Optic, it's only $11.50 entry price. So I'm buying them. And we're going to get into that here in a second when we get into Will It Gem. And matter of fact, let's do that right now. I got these right here. So here are the 2 that I've bought so far. My dollar cost average is actually a little higher than the $11.50 on these. I think I paid more around $16 to $18 for these. Let me know if you think these will gem if you're watching at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. I think there's a good chance of both of these Wembys gemming. I think the only thing that I'm slightly worried about is the top-bottom centering. The top-bottom centering looks a little tight to the nameplate, to the Rated Rookie logo. The top just looks a little bit larger from a spatial standpoint before you get to the, like on the border. The border looks a little bit taller than it should be on the top and a little bit shorter than it should be on the bottom. But here's the deal. You don't know. Like, you don't know until you send them in for grading. And I like to learn by doing, right? I'm not the person that's going to sit there and give you advice without doing the stuff myself. So I'm going to send these in. I think that they have a chance to gem. I think one of them could be a 10. The other one could be a 9, but the formula still likes that. So I'm going to do it. So let me know. Are you buying these? Are you following the formula? Are you doing your own thing? I want to know. Drop a comment at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Here's the other interesting thing that showed up in my mailbox today, everybody. The Sports Illustrated for Kids July-August 2024 edition, Paris 2024. You've got Coco Gauff on the cover. It's a cool looking cover. And I mean, what we really care about though are the cards. So what struck me as 2 interesting cards that are here in the SI Kids issue are Charlie Condon, who was a top 5 pick in the MLB draft. Lefty and I talked about him in last Wednesday's episode, so you need to go check that out. The title of it is Our Favorite eBay Searches, so go check that out. But we talk about way more than just our favorite eBay searches in that episode. And then Cameron Brink of the Los Angeles Sparks, a top pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. So what I wanted to do is, like, in the Will It Gem segment, I'm going to show you the cards. Sports Illustrated for Kids cards, like, don't ever gem. So it's not going to be a gemmable situation, but I think that they would grade well. And look up, go back through our archive, our catalog of content at youtube.com/Paul Hickey and at nooffseason.com for how to safely tear out the SI for Kids cards and then submit them to PSA. But here's the thing, before you actually do that, I want to analyze this with you because we have inadvertently steered people the wrong way here on the Sports Card Strategy Show before by talking up SI Kids cards. And we've done the same thing with Topps Now and Panini Instant cards. For the most part, there is a formula to follow related to all of those cards as well. And the formula that you want to follow is look at, do these players have any cards out yet? Because I made a massive amount of money on the Victor Wembanyama 2023 SI Kids card, but that was because he didn't have any other cards out, and I knew that. And that was one of my greatest flips of all time. But if players have cards out already, the SI Kids card doesn't really do anything. So when we look at Condon and we look at the sales prices already for the SI Kids cards, they're only selling for about $3 raw. That's not enough upside. And I think the reason why they're only selling $3 raw, and of course there's none of these back on the market yet in PSA graded cards, but like, it's because Condon has other better cards out. Like, he's got USA Baseball game worn patch autos, out of 199. He's got USA Baseball Stars and Stripes signature cards that aren't game worn that sell very well. He's got Onyx. So he already has more cards that will always be more desirable than his SI Kids cards, because the SI Kids card really only has value when it is the player's first card. And then when other cards hit the market, the SI Kids cards go down. So the SI Kids cards are always quick flips. Charlie Woods was another successful quick flip for me. Rose Zhang was another one. Let's look at Cameron Brink. So Cameron Brink, there was a raw sale for $20 yesterday. Just a bin. So just a buy it now. Somebody bought a Cameron Brink card for $20. But the day before, it only went for $5. And it also only went for less than $6.99. Yeah, so 2 sales for $5 of Cameron Brink and then 1 for $20. So that tells me there's not going to be a whole lot of upside in that card. Why? Because Cameron Brink has other better cards out. Her Bowman Chrome U PSA 10s sell for $56. Her the Panini Instant. So my Panini Instant Caitlin Clarks are at PSA right now, but there's a Cameron Brink WNBA Draft Night Panini Instant SGC 10 that sold on July 13th for $49. So my advice to all of you is definitely before you think about grading any SI for Kids cards, first of all, go look at what they're selling for raw, and then go look at what other cards does the player have out. And I think that the answer is always going to be, again, you have to have a unique situation where it's a desirable player, and that desirable player's card is really only found in SI for Kids. So like Wemby, like Charlie Woods, like Rose Zhang, those are kind of the special occasion. All right, before we get into the Topps buyback program, want to give a little shout out here and talk to some people in the live chat. DC in the live chat, new name in the live chat. Good to see you, DC. Welcome. Says, if you want a membership, can you cancel within the 30-day free month if you don't like it? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, of course, I definitely cry. I curl up in the fetal position and cry when people do cancel, but I understand. Yeah, I'm so confident in our content that I give it away for free for 30 days because I know most people like it and most people do stay subscribed, believe it or not. So you could definitely cancel, DC, if you don't like it. MW says, I did grab 77 SI Kids Wemby cards and it paid off very well. I remember that. Congrats, MW. The 20, he says 20K Wemby play. Thank you. You're welcome. See, stuff like that pays for your premium membership. And Koa says, stick with it. The Friday premium show is worth the membership by itself. Thank you so much, Koa. Really appreciate that. And Eric says, you won't cancel if you're willing to put the time in to the content of the membership. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate all the love in the live chat. And Alexander Ortiz is in the live chat and says, I have a Donruss pink laser out of 50 Wemby. Front a little heavy on the left, but centered on the back. Edges and corners are good. Going to grade it at the National and wanted to see if I should hold it. Alex, what I would do is there's some great pre-grading companies at the National that charge maybe $10 to pre-grade it. So if you grade it at the National, it's going to be $120 to get it by the end of the show. It's going to be more than $125 to get it before, to get it the same day and stuff. So if you're only at the show, if you're not at the show all the way through Sunday, you're going to have to pay a lot of money to get that card graded. What I would do first is I would have it pre-graded by a pre-grading company, and they're going to tell you what is likely to what it's likely to grade. And you can actually, if it's a 9 or something like that, you can save a lot of money, but you can also sell it maybe for more money when it's pre-graded than you would if it's raw. And if you don't like the grade, earmuffs for people who think that this is against your morals, just you can easily take it out of the pre-grading top loader and everything like that. Easier than you can crack a slab. Oh, my shoes in the house. Good to see Oh My Shoes, loyal podcast listener here for the Sports Card Strategy Show. All right, so time to give another quick shout out. Speaking of Oh My Shoes, another OG supporter is Graybo's Sports Cards. So Graybo's Sports Cards has always supported the Sports Card Strategy Show. Shout out to everyone at Graybo's and the A team there. Cole pulled a superfractor, and not just any superfractor, the superfractor 1-of-1 rookie auto of Ellie De La Cruz from Topps Chrome 2024. So congrats to Graybo's. This is huge. They're obviously getting a lot of attention for this, as they should get, because this is not only a phenomenal pull, but they are a phenomenal company. So go check out Graybo's. And again, congrats to not only Cole, not only the rest of the A team, but Fitz, Graybo, and Duke Denny one-time Dodson in the house. In the live chat, before we get to our next topic, the Topps buyback program is Alandis Brassel. Alandis Brassel says, for what it's worth, DC, I've been back in the hobby for a month. Found the membership about 2 weeks ago. Some of the best info out there. Alandis, thanks so much, my man. Really appreciate your support. Definitely want more of your feedback as well as you navigate the content. We always want to keep it the best out there. So thanks so much. All right, let's get into the Topps buyback program. Want to say thank you to Mosaic Joe. Mosaic Joe, he's been an analyst for us. He's a great friend of the show, and he's a great sports card flipper, and he's always looking to educate the sports card strategy and nooffseason.com community about, great ways that they can be crafty and get some value and make some money in the hobby, because making money flipping in the hobby just basically funds our great hobby is all it does. So the Topps MVP buyback program is what I want to talk about. And Mosaic Joe texted me over the weekend. He's like, hey, I think you should do a segment on the Topps buyback program. I'm like, dude, I appreciate it, but like, I don't even know what that is. And so I'm the type of guy that's like, look, there's no possible way that anyone can know everything that's going on in the hobby. There's a lot of collectors that know way more than me about cards, but they probably don't know as much as I know about some things, right? And so I think that's why we're all collaborating together. And Mosaic Joe, he's a great example of someone who has a lot of knowledge and wants to share it. So the Topps MVP buyback program, he sent me a link to ripped.topps.com, which is a great blog. And the Topps blog. So let me just kind of explain how the MVP buyback program works, because I've got a couple of boxes of 2024 Topps Chrome myself. Don't know what to do with them. Ripping is not my thing, so I'm probably not going to rip them. I'm probably going to find a way to give some away to some premium members and things like that, or maybe sell one of them sealed. But we'll see. The Topps MVP buyback program returns in anticipation of the 2024 AL and NL MVPs. Starting in November, Topps and participating hobby shops will be buying back 2024 Topps Chrome cards featuring the 2024 MLB MVPs. And then the store, the hobby shop, will offer you store credit in exchange for your cards. So to really win from the Topps MLB MVP buyback program, here's what you need to do. First, buy a 2024 Topps Chrome and collect the MVP candidates. So you could obviously do this from blaster boxes, hobby boxes, jumbo boxes, whatever. Number two, once the MVPs are announced in November, bring those 2024 Topps Chrome cards to your local hobby shop. Number three, exchange the AL and NL MVP cards for store credit. But there's only certain cards that are part of the program. You've got a base vintage, a base image variation. So base card and a base image variation. The local hobby shops will give you $20 of credit for that. For the refractors, the logo fractor base, logo fractor image variation, refractor parallel, X-fractor parallel, prism parallel, sepia parallel, pink refractor parallel, negative parallel, ray wave parallel, and negative MLB refractor parallel, they'll give you $40 credit. For anything numbered above 100, I'm not going to read them all off, but there's several cards that are numbered above 100, as well as Topps Chrome Lightboard logo variations. They'll give you $100 credit. These are for the singles of these cards. And then for anything serial numbered under 100, so 99 or less, they're going to give you a $200 credit. Now, depending on the player, it's going to be an MVP. So it might not, and if you got a super fractor or not a 5, you might be able to sell it for well above $200 cash, right? But I think it's cool because what ends up happening, and this is kind of Mosaic Joe's point, is it increases the value of the singles of these cards. So knowing that like a base image variation of someone who's in the MVP race, maybe it's a Shohei Ohtani, maybe it's an Aaron Judge, just their base card, their base image variation, that's worth $20. So it up for this time period from now, which is the end of July, all the way through November, we know those cards are worth that much. And we don't know that about typical base cards. And so I think this is a great point for Mosaic Joe to bring up. It's another play, right? It's another play. So you could, even if the condition of the base card won't gem and it's not a grading play, you could still make significant money on these cards in the form of credit from your local hobby shop. Of course, this, also supports your local hobby shop. So let me know what you think. Are you going to be part of the Topps buyback program for 2024? Drop a comment at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Comment on that pinned Instagram post we talked about. And, on Mondays, we talk about grading cards. And I would be remiss if I didn't give you more information about how you could potentially increase the grades of your cards. MrMinty.com, MrMinty.com, use promo code NOOFFSEASON for 15% off your entire order of his products. So that obviously supports both of us. It gives you 15% off your entire order. These are card prep products. He also has a card prep and submission service for all of you. More details on that are at MrMinty.com. And please do me a favor. If you contact him at all about his card prep and submission service, please tell him that you heard about him on the Sports Card Strategy Show and that you love Paul Hickey. All right, everybody. Another thing I want to talk to you guys about, because, oftentimes people will say, oh, Paul, all you do on your show is you just plug your premium package. Oh, all you're doing is you're just trying to force people. You're not giving away any value on your show. You're just trying to force people to buy your premium package. Well, I give away a lot of content for free at nooffseason.com. One thing I do, I spend a lot of time every day, is updating pages like the top sports card auctions page. So if you want to try to find this, it's always linked in my Instagram story at Sports Card Strategy. Also, it's easy to find because it's just on the homepage of nooffseason.com. Just scroll all the way down until you find it. But top sports card auctions. So what I do is I pull out featured eBay auctions pretty much on a daily basis and direct link you to the auctions that I think are for cards that will be going up in value. Now, this is more my opinion based on our guidelines, strategies, and plays that we talk about in Sports Card School. Not necessarily formula-based, but I think it's fun to look at these auctions. So I've got eBay, I've got Whatnot, because Whatnot has great auctions now. So my team at nooffseason.com and I are curating what we feel are the best ways for you to spend your money on eBay auctions, Whatnot auctions, and Fanatics Collect. What is Fanatics Collect? You haven't heard of Fanatics Collect? It's not a new marketplace. It's PWCC. PWCC, for those of you who don't know, was acquired by Fanatics last year, and they have just now rebranded to be called Fanatics Collect. So Fanatics Collect, formerly PWCC, we've got them on there as well as Whatnot and eBay. So we're going now, basically everywhere. We think that these are the top 3 marketplaces in the sports card market. So we want you to go ahead and check out our top auctions ending. Now, also, speaking of Fanatics Collect, we have a partnership with Roadshow Cards. Roadshow Cards has a partnership with Fanatics Collect. If you want to get the most out of your higher dollar cards, I want you to email me at paul@nooffseason.com, because Sports Card Strategy Show listeners now, through this partnership with Fanatics Collect via Roadshow Cards, Sports Card Strategy Show listeners now have access to be able to get some special benefits in helping them auction off their higher dollar cards. So definitely email me at paul@nooffseason.com to get some more information on that. A lot of great resources for you guys here on the nooffseason.com Sports Card Network. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Sports Card Strategy Show. Before I let you go and hit you with the outro, I do want to let you know on Wednesday in 48 hours, we're going to have a special prep for the National episode. So it's going to go through our top 10 tips for attending the National. I think that they basically span all card shows, but obviously the National is this week. And don't worry if you're not going to go to the National. We're going to have great National recap content for you next week, all next week. So don't worry if you're not going. Tuning into the Sports Card Strategy Show next week will feel like you didn't miss a thing. And shout out to Hector in the live chat. He says Calm C is also great for turning low value cards into higher end cards as well. And Nick is in the live chat and says, wait, did you go through the top 5 sports cards to buy raw and grade? Yes, we did, Nick. And this week's theme is Victor Wembanyama. So we talk about raw to grade on Mondays. For those of you who don't know, we don't literally just list the top 5 cards from the formula. We do like a theme a lot of the times. And today's theme was Victor Wembanyama, because definitely Wemby is near or at the top of our list when you look at sports ways to make money flipping sports cards over the next 3 to 6 months. So everybody, again, thanks so much for being here with me on the Sports Card Strategy Show. We're going to be bringing you content all week, even though we're going to be at the National, and then all next week, you're going to get our National recap content. Thanks everybody. Have a great day. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. To connect with us further, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Please also give us a follow on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and on X at No Off Season Card. We also have a Discord that you could join at sportscardstrategy.com. Everyone, I'm Paul Hickey. For the rest of us here at nooffseason.com, have a great day. We'll see you again soon.